Hello and welcome to the Squirrel Heed YouTube channel, and this is going to be a bit more of the lengthy review that I'll do for the Liverpool game. Now I'm going to try and get some different elements in there of the Liverpool-Leicester game. I'm going to try and get some imagery so I can show maybe a little bit of analysis of the goals as well, the goals that went against us and the goals that we actually scored as well. Just to, well, first off we'll see if they get copyright claimed first. They shouldn't, from what I've been told. They shouldn't, because I don't monetize the videos, but we'll see. We'll play devil's advocate and stuff like that anyway. But I gave my reaction on Full-Time Reaction as well. I'll link that in the description below of this one, and obviously put my reaction on here as well. But yeah, obviously following up from the reaction of the game, let's I watched the highlights again last night, obviously with Match of the Day, and then watching the highlights again this morning. Yeah, I just wanted to go through a couple of things, and hopefully we can actually, get a little bit more analysis into it actually, and I can hopefully maybe show you a little bit of the inner workings of like what I think about football and just what I see as well. So obviously we're going to kick off with the two goals from Liverpool first of all, and we're just going to build it up and just see what we can do. I'll probably only be able to use still images because I won't actually be able to use actual footage of the Premier League and stuff like that. It's just how it works. But yeah, we'll see how we go, and we'll just kind of wing it from here. So this is the setup for the first goal from Liverpool, and what I wanted you to look at over in that direction of where Salah is, just over the edge of the box there. Now all you can see is just a tiniest of little signals. You've got Coutinho that is already literally getting ready on the bottom left hand of your screen here, getting ready to whip that cross in, and you can already see just the positioning. You can see Salah is already moving off that left foot, and he's already wanting to go. Now the defender, can't remember who the defender is for Leicester, who's actually covering Salah, but you could just see that Salah's already wanting to move. Coutinho is already reading that, and it was such a great delivery. Obviously I can't show you the video footage of it, but I think if you've seen the highlights yourselves, you can kind of tell the positioning of the players. You've got Firmino that's starting to, I can't actually tell who that is in the middle, whether that is, I think it is Firmino in the middle. It's Alberto Moreno who's closest to Coutinho, already trying to pull players out of position. You can see that I think it's Harry Maguire that's next to or near Firmino. He's starting to move towards Firmino, expecting him to maybe put that ball, Coutinho, to put the ball to Firmino, but instead whips a beautiful, beautiful cross through to Mohamed Salah, who heads it in. Schmeichel, I think when you see it back, if you watch the highlights of it as well, is that you can maybe sort of see that he thinks the ball's going to go out, doesn't expect to have to make a save, and it was a brilliant goal by Liverpool, I've got to say. I wish I could show you the footage, but I don't want to get in too much trouble or with copyright claims and stuff like that. But I think it was a good setup anyway, and really good communication from Liverpool, especially with Coutinho only coming back into the side quite recently, and probably wanting to prove that he does want to maybe play for Liverpool this season, whether he does want to next season or not. And obviously Mohamed Salah providing the fact that he's been scoring goals and getting some assists for us as well since he turned up from Roma, and he's done really well. He's been a bright light for Liverpool lately. So now here we've obviously got Coutinho's free kick, and to be fair, Coutinho's free kick was just magic. It reminded me of the free kick he scored against Arsenal last season, first game of the season for us. And it was absolutely brilliant, brilliant free kick. He just manages to get it over one of the defenders. Now one of the defenders does jump and manages to, almost gets ahead to it, but literally just minimally, and I'll try and get it into in a more replay sort of angle. But it was just an absolutely brilliantly placed free kick. Now this is the reverse angle of the free kick as well, and you can just see, I think it either might have been Morgan or Maguire, one of them almost gets their head to it, and just before it flies into the back of the net as well. And it was so close. If you actually do get to see this replay in full speed and even in slow motion and stuff like that as well, it was really, really close to actually being headed out or even getting some contact on it as well. It literally it was the perfect delivery. Gets right into that into the corner of the goal. Schmeichel, there's not a great deal he can do with it because it is such a brilliantly curled effort. Absolutely perfect free kick, and perfect for Coutinho. Gets a assist on the first goal and scores this free kick, gets a goal as well. Is he starting to repay Liverpool fans a little bit more? Like, obviously I've had some opinions about Coutinho, but this is how you get yourself back on side, by putting in some brilliant performances like this. And I just thought it was really good for him. He may have faded later on in the game, but I think getting these performances in now has been really good for him, and I think that was just brilliant. You see Liverpool fans cheering and stuff like that, and on social media applauding that free kick, and that is, you know, maybe he is getting his way back into the Liverpool faithful. And it's one hell of a way to do it. Okay, so it's not a Liverpool game without a comedy of errors, and to be fair, I think some of the errors were on the referee as well. Didn't spot some things in this corner, but you can see already that the Liverpool players, it looks like we should be in control of this situation. Yes, you've got Okazaki on Mignolet, but the rest of us, you know, there's more of our players in the box that should be able to deal with this, and they just don't. I will forward it on just a little bit so we actually get to the what is a comedy goal, I would say. It's not a good one for Liverpool to look back on, but we will get back into it. Like, obviously, I can't forward it on too much, but yeah, I'll show you the still imagery of it anyway. Okay, now I've moved it on slightly, and you can see that Okazaki is slightly fouling Mignolet, which is what I think they were trying to call for. Now, what it looks like when I've seen it, when I watched it in full time, in full speed, and also in the highlights, is it looks like Okazaki has barged Mignolet out of the way. It's now bounced off our defender, or it's bounced off the number 15, which I think is Harry Maguire. And then we'll come to the little bit of the goal as well, which obviously means Okazaki gets it. And literally all it was a toe poke from Okazaki. You can see the Liverpool players that were protesting, and it just wasn't a good goal to concede. Now, obviously, Liverpool do concede too many goals like this, and it is just a comedy of errors. It's not good. We should have dealt with it better anyway. But I do feel that Mignolet was being fouled, but it's one of those, isn't it? Right, if the side officials and such like that and the referee aren't picking up on it, then, you know, things like this are going to go against you. It was the timing of the goal as well, though, when it came in the 45th minute, just before half-time, and it looked like we were going to go in 2-0. Now, if we go in 2-0, the game might be a little bit different, maybe not as nervy in the second half, but obviously this set it up to be quite a nervy game for the rest of the game. Now we're into the second half, and you can see this is actually going to be the little build-up to, well, it is Jordan Henderson's goal. He's literally just about to hit that ball, and he's going to do, you know, it's quite well. But what I've got to appreciate about this one as well is Sturridge has come on at this point. Firmino's gone off, and Sturridge actually manages to get the ball from you know, we got the ball back, Henderson got it back, passed it to Sturridge, we work it up the pitch and get a good counter on. Sturridge unselfishly passes it over to Henderson, who was in a better position, but Henderson looked like he delayed a little bit too much. Looked like he was actually going to try and maybe get it on his left, but he brought it back on his right foot, just waited for the commitment of the defender. You can see, I think it's Maguire, is going one way. Schmeichel's trying to go the other way. Morgan looks like he's trying to get back in position. Now, what that obviously meant it opened up a tiny, tiny little gap, and I'll try and move it on just a little bit, and you can maybe see that. And you can see just here, Maguire is trying to get back in position. You can see now Morgan is trying his best to actually get over and maybe cover Schmeichel. Schmeichel ends up going the other way, and Henderson gets it in the back of the net. And it was a good goal for Henderson, something that was needed for him, I think. But it's what comes after, because this puts us on 3-1, and pretty much straight after this, after they've kicked off, it pretty much goes 3-2. So I think what ended up setting this all up in the first place was that Wijnaldum gave away a free kick against Morgan, and he manages to get it down to the number 11. I cannot remember if it's Albrighton or not. And he gets it down, and he actually makes some, you know, he does some good work himself, some good footwork, and turns off our players. Now what you can see here is their number 11 is getting ready to get a cross in. And obviously the way that the cross goes in, it loops so much that you're just thinking, oh, well, there's no one there. There's no one on the other end of the screen. But that is where we are totally incorrect, because I never saw that Gray was coming in over the other side, obviously, until he works his way into the picture, which I'll show in just a second. There he is. You see the flight of the ball. You see Gray is coming in, and that is absolutely like it. Now it's looking like proper danger, you know, a danger area for Liverpool, because when we get something like this one, we don't expect someone coming in. And you can also see, where is Alberto Moreno? Where is he? Is that him literally just in front of the defender, in front of Lovren? Well, yeah, then if so, he's out of position. He should be further over. He should be way over where Gray is. But as you'll see, Gray manages to get a shot off, and it was a powerful shot, but in the end it manages to fall to Vardy. And you cannot leave Vardy in that much space. With an open goal, Mignolet's saved a very powerful effort from Gray, but the defence was all over the place. Gomez and Henderson really have actually let the defence down a little bit there by not being in the right position, in my opinion. They could have done a lot better, but they didn't. They seemed a little bit lackadaisical, like the threat wasn't real, and they managed to get a goal back. It goes 3-2. So this is the penalty incident as well, which nearly made it go to a draw, and this is what made it so nervy. Right, so you can see right away that on this angle it looks like Mignolet is going to get the ball and Vardy goes down. And you see that they've clattered, it looks like they've clattered, but for me, from this angle when it was in real time, it actually looked like Mignolet had got the ball, not the player. And now from this angle it still looks like he's got the ball, but has he got enough of it? Well no, because you can see, literally, he's almost, you know, he's got his legs round him, he's absolutely clattered into Vardy, and while I don't like saying it, people were saying that Vardy dived. You cannot do anything about me. You can't really, you know, you can't say anything about Mignolet that he got the ball. He absolutely flies into Jamie Vardy, and it is a penalty. And you just don't give away those sorts of things in these sorts of games. When we're 3-2 up, we're 3-1 at one point and 2-0 as well. You know, this is where we need someone like Mignolet to be a lot better and keep his temperament about him as well. But obviously he's come out, he's missed the ball quite badly, and he's ended up clattering the player. Now the one thing they were talking about last night on Match of the Day was the fact that Jamie Vardy likes to absolutely just go up to the ball, hammer it as hard as he can, run at the ball as fast as he can, and he's going to try and put it central, which is exactly what happened. And when I saw this happen in game as well, I just thought, okay, they put a little graphic up before this saying that, you know, most of his shots are down the middle, just a little bit, you know, to the right and left of the middle, maybe even a little bit up. I think there was one penalty he missed which was above the bar. I can't remember when that was from though. And Mignolet gets strong hands to it, and he manages to put it out to the right hand side of him and get rid of the danger. And that was pretty much it for the game. And I'm going to come on and hopefully now I'll flip the camera back around and I'll speak to you about my thoughts of the rest of the game. So let me know what you think about me using the imagery to sort of illustrate what I'm talking about, you know, and hopefully I don't get copyright striked on these as well. It would be nice to keep doing these sorts of things because I think it does help illustrate what I'm talking about, positioning and stuff like that as well. So my thoughts on the entire game: we needed it. We needed a victory no matter how we got it. And if we'd have got it by a 1-0, we get it by a 3-2. It's nervy. It puts more questions on our defence a little bit. But I think if, like from what I'm saying in my reaction video yesterday, that if you can question our defence totally, but there were things that did go against us in this game as well for the goals that we conceded. Now, yes, the second goal we are completely culpable for. You have to accept responsibility for it purely because that could have, again, like Jurgen Klopp sometimes says, should have been stopped in the build-up. So you saw when obviously, you know, when Gray comes over, like we can't see that on TV that that cross was going to be so overhit that it was going to go all the way over to Gray, that the defence actually should be in their right positions. And again, it's not a fault though. It's not a fault we haven't seen before, where a left back is too close to the defender. You know, they're not in the right position. And it does happen with Alberto Moreno. He is very good going forward. He is a good outlet going forward. But defensively, he is lapsing. And that's where I would have preferred to see Andrew Robertson get more of a shout in the team. I do think that we managed to hold on quite well. Obviously, Mignolet turning from, you know, zero to hero, but also, you know, he was culpable for that mistake. If he'd have conceded that penalty, he rightly would have been, you know, he would have been not a villain. I don't want to say a villain because that's, you know, I don't think he's a villain. But I do think he's made that mistake. You can't really call him a hero. Yes, he saved the penalty and he has had a good couple of saves, but he does, again, look like shaky Mignolet like we've had in the past. And that's not necessarily, it's not a good thing at all. That's actually, it's not a good thing. Can't even say not necessarily. It's not. You know, the defence, it looked better a little bit, marginally, than it did on Tuesday night when we got knocked out of the cup. Obviously, it was a completely different defensive lineup, pretty much, apart from Gomez. But obviously, Gomez was playing right back today. It was good to see that Matip and Lovren were back in there. And I've got to say that purely because we needed towering people. We needed someone like the height of Lovren and Matip. Other than that, Lovren was very nervy. Matip was nervy as well, but I think that kind of comes from your goalkeeper. Mignolet was quite nervy in the defensive areas. Yes, I think he was bullied off the ball, but he was bullied off the ball by Okazaki, who isn't the biggest physical presence ever, and Mignolet is a towering 6-foot-plus goalkeeper. He should be able to deal with that, and not only that, he should be able to see it coming, that someone's going to come and challenge him like that. So I mean, there's definitely lessons to be learnt. We've got harder games to come up as well. We've got the Champions League in Moscow next week on the 26th. So I mean, it gives us a bit of a boost. The other boost that we'll have obviously as well is Sadio Mane. His ban will now be over. So obviously he wasn't banned in the Champions League anyway, and he'll be playing there. But he will be back in and available for Premier League games, which it'll be huge. It'll be massive to have him back. And I hope that he comes back with the same sort of intensity and ferocity that he can play with, that he is known for. And hopefully, you know, that whole incident with Ederson, it hasn't actually blunted his approach or anything like that. I hope he still goes out. He's vowed to be faster than ever, getting to balls and stuff like that, which is terrifying for other people, because if he can go faster than he has been, wow, that would be unreal. But I hope you've enjoyed this review, a little bit of a different, you know, angle on it. I wanted to try something a little bit different, and let me know what you think about it. You know, if you don't like it, let me know. You know, and if you'd just like me to talk about it, get my thoughts out there. But I thought, I just had a little bit of an idea that I might, you know, try and get some imagery. And again, it also depends whether it gets copyright stroke or striked, whatever it is called. But I hope you've enjoyed it. Liverpool fans, you've got to be buzzing because, well, we have to be buzzing because we've got a victory. You know, we scored a few goals. We conceded a couple of goals as well. So obviously it's a standard Liverpool game. It was nervy as hell. All it was missing really was a sending off. So I'm glad we didn't get that. That was all it was missing. It had everything else in that game. It was an entertaining game, probably for a neutral. Probably found that game quite entertaining. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Leicester, you know, they did play well. They played to their strengths and they played to their dangers, and they almost got, you know, they almost got points. They almost got at least a point. So they are a dangerous team. They just didn't, you know, they didn't do what they did on Tuesday night. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. I've said that far too many times now. Thank you ever so much for watching as always. Like the video, subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll catch you later.